Good evening, everyone. It's Thursday, December 11th. This is a meeting of the Wolfeboro Budget Committee. And tonight we're going to be discussing the budgets of the welfare agency grants, which includes the Lakes Region V&A Municipal Electric Fund, which includes personal administration, electric distribution, electric generation, and capital outlay. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, I'll open it up to public comment. Seeing none, we'll move on. I want to share with the fellow members an email that I received yesterday afternoon from Harold Parker. Dear John, I hereby resign from the Wolfeboro Budget Committee effective immediately. I wish you and the committee all the best in the future. Sincerely, Harold B. Parker. On behalf of the committee, I want to thank Harold for his service. He's been on the committee before and also has done a great contribution to the state and our community through his service, not just on the local level, but also on the state level and also on the county level. That email has been forwarded to Pat Waterman, the town clerk. We'll discuss if we want to fill that position a little bit later after we get through some of the other budgets so we don't tie up the town employees. Mr. Town Manager, do you have anything before we get started?
I do not, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Let's get started with Lakes Region V&A so those folks can... Hey, come on up, please.
I'm ready to go.
Where would I guess the stand?
Yep,
another
I
chair?
don't want to stand with your...
Wherever, you can either sit here or you can stand, whichever.
Sure.
If I may, I have some comments.
Sure.
I'd like to-
Thank you very much.
Who we are, what we do. Have you heard of us? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome. Thank you. One shot.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you
My
for
name
coming.
is Dr. Erin Jospe. I have the privilege of serving as the CEO President of Lakes Region V&A, and my colleague Jim Harnett is our Chief Financial Officer. We're very appreciative of the opportunity to present to you right now. As you may know, Lakes Region V&A has been around for more than 100 years serving this community. We are a nonprofit and we're committed to having a strong community presence as well as a presence in the individual home. We provide home care, which entails skilled nursing, home health aides, physical, occupational, speech therapies, bereavement services, chaplaincy services, and hospice care, as well as private duty to individual members of the community wherever they consider home, whether that is in a facility like Taylor Home or in whatever domicile they reside in. So we are so grateful for the opportunity to ask for your support. When you might ask, what do those dollars go towards? We think about that support really with three buckets. One is charitable care. As a nonprofit, we are committed to providing care to any individual regardless of their ability to pay. We are also very committed to being a presence in the community, and that entails community wellness events like food clinics, like educational sessions around advanced directives and movement classes to keep people balanced and strong, as well as thinking about professional development, not just for our staff, but also for community members. In 2024, one of your rising seniors received one of our scholarships, which go towards rising high school seniors that are pursuing their educational careers in the clinical sciences, and then again for our own professional development for our staff. We're truly committed to being able to provide the very highest quality of care. There are numerous healthcare agencies that can provide similar services, and for better or worse, there are more than enough sick patients to go around. And it is an imperative that any patient have the opportunity to have choice in where they get their care. So we're not trying to eliminate other agencies. We're really all here to work together. Part of what distinguishes us, though, is we are the only CMS 5-star rated hospice care program that serves this area. And in order to continue to do that, we believe in that professional development for our staff to continue to provide that highest quality of care. I'll turn it over to Jim to provide some specific data around the number of patients within Wolfeboro that we serve, the amount of charitable care that we provided, and some of the events that we held here.
Sure, thank you. I would like to add, we were voted best of the lakes as a home care provider, hospice provider this year.
And for 5 years running.
5 years running as well. That's good. Dear board members, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. The Lakes Region Visiting Nurse Association respectfully requests a town appropriation in the amount of $5,000 for the 2026 calendar year to support our essential home-based healthcare services for Wolfeboro residents. Your continued support enables us to meet the growing need for home-based care, even as federal Medicare reimbursements continue to decline. We are deeply grateful for your past generosity and respectfully ask once again for your partnership in 2026, so that every resident, regardless of financial means, can access compassionate and professional care in the comfort of their home. Over the past year, Lakes Region VNA made 1,068 home visits to 40 individual Wolfeboro residents, and this includes providing $5,000 in charitable care to one Wolfeboro resident. We are proud to be part of the Wolfeboro community. This September, LRVNA hosted a flu clinic at the Abenaki Ski Lodge, and in November, we offered a free grief support group at the Wolfeboro Library. We strongly believe in peer support and collaboration. Over the past summer, our clinical staff led a 3-part educational series for the Taylor Community Assisted Living Facility here in Wolfeboro. This series focused on hospice philosophy, pain and symptom management, reducing hospitalizations, and promoting enhanced comfort for its residents. We remain steadfast in our mission to provide compassionate, high-quality home care and hospice service to all individuals, regardless of their financial circumstances. Your continued support makes this possible, and we are deeply grateful for the trust that you place in us to care for your community. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Question? Tom?
Couple questions. How does Wolfeboro stack up compared to other townships in the amount of giving? Seems like you do really good work. And I guess what I would ask is, what would you do with additional funding from Wolfeboro to support Wolfeboro?
Sure. Well, we'd like to host more community wellness events in town. We would certainly, we're working to expand more of our census growth, and Wolfeboro is definitely a key part of that. We've been working on our relationship with Huggins Hospital to use them as a referral source and to partner with them to also offer courses, wellness classes at their campus for their staff and also for families of patients that are there to educate what we do and what we can provide. I believe there's a lot of room for educating the public in what a hospice facility can provide them. I think, personally speaking, I'm fairly new to this industry, and hospice always seemed like a very bad word, and it is not. I'm here as I've learned about what we provide and what we can bring to families, that hospice care is just a paramount part of planning for end of life and is not a dirty word. It's something that the onus is on us as an organization to go and spread that word and let folks know. And I believe as part of that mission, we'll certainly have a more enhanced visibility in this community.
I think if I could just add on to that, I think it's really important that we solicit from you the types of services and activities that you would want to see. So one of the models that I've really enjoyed pursuing is with our partners at the Newfound Senior Center. And so participating with their advisory committee and hearing, what are the kinds of classes that you want us to provide? What would medication reconciliation look like? So one of the number one causes of injury are medication accidents. People don't understand what they should be taking, when they should get rid of things. So to host a community-wide, private time to go through the medications that are in your medicine cabinet that maybe should have been disposed of, what's capable of being diverted and helping to dispose of that safely. Those are some of the types of programs that we've been exploring, as well as sort of the more routine stuff that pops to mind, like blood pressure clinic. But I think getting that direct feedback of community need is really important. And then personally, I just love to expand the number of scholarships that we give out.
To the question of how Wolfeboro stacks up in terms of both contribution and the services you provide us, have you got some insight into that?
I mean, from a support standpoint, I can say that one of the municipalities we serve last year gave $85,000. So that would be the upper limit of
Who would they be?
That would be Meredith. And again, that's public information. So that is a data point. And the types of services, I think, really the world is our oyster. There are some, like Bristol, where they've got a very vocal senior community center that is very forthcoming in the types of services and very engaged with us that way. So thinking about how we can extrapolate and engage with additional communities. And I think we earn the opportunity to do that by having used this last year to build up some of that muscle memory, to be in Taylor, to be in your public library doing a grief session, or series, I guess I should say, and to get that feedback for what's working and what's not. Do you want more movement classes? Do you want balance classes? Those kinds of things.
And just statistically, I would say in our entire service area, from a patient visit standpoint, Wolfeboro represents between 5 and 10%. And that holds true with the charitable amount that we dispense this year.
Brian?
Can you speak a little more about the relationship between Lakes Region VNA and Granite State VNA? That's a question many people have. I mean, do you offer additional services or other services? Is the access easier through Lakes Region? You can touch upon that difference.
So I think it's fair to say that we have very similar offerings and service lines. There are going to be just different feels to each of us and things that distinguish us. So Granite has a hospice house. I think that is an incredible thing to be able to offer. We have no intention of trying to build our own hospice house. That's not our skill set. From a staffing standpoint, I think what they achieve is incredible. We've had a different focus. I don't know specifically where we match up line item by line item. Certainly with the typical home care, home hospice, home rehab, all of those things will be the same. We're really lucky we have skill set within our staff around obstetric and early infancy. And so that is also a service line that we offer, which really helps. Again, when we think about the relative maternity desert that we have, to be able to save somebody a 45-minute drive to the doctor because you can go and do their blood pressure check in their home is really, I think, a lovely service to be able to offer. So again, I'm not intimately familiar with everything that Granite does. The biggest differentiator, I would say, is they have the hospice house.
So you took care of one of my questions. You took care of the second one of my questions. I have my,
You're all done.
No, I have my.
Thanks for the ginger.
I have my third one.
Brian?
And,
You have a question?
yeah.
Go ahead.
The third one is, what trips Meredith to have to, or not have to, but to want to and need to donate so much more than Wolfeboro does?
So I will readily admit that I've served as CEO for the last year and a half, and so I can't really speak to how we went about municipal support in the past. I'm very cognizant of the number of incredibly worthy organizations that come before each of these municipalities and how federal funding may or may not have changed for them, which is going to change the degree of support that municipalities may have to offer. Meredith is our home base, and I think that's the quick and dirty answer.
Okay.
That's where we are located, and it's the majority of our employees are within that area. And so I think that traditionally over the 100 years, it has been a very strong presence that is there. We would like to replicate that throughout the entirety of our catchment area. When we talk about strategic growth for ourselves, we are talking about going deep where we are, not expanding our footprint out further.
Any other questions? Bobby?
Just one quick one. You said you're at Taylor and around the community. Has Taylor donated funds to your organization?
No, they have not
Yeah.
specific. We are referral partners and we collaborate. That's the level of our relationship, is
Okay.
that's collaborators and peers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? How did you come up with the request? What's the number based on?
It's based on past requests that we had put through. It's based on some internal metrics.
I think this is your second year. I believe that is your second year for request? Your
We
first year was
requested last year also,
Yeah.
yes.
And what did you base that on?
Looking at the charitable care that we gave, that's a 1-for-1
Mhm.
for this past year.
Okay. Tom?
That begs a question for me. What is your bandwidth to increase care in Wolfeboro, and would additional funding really enhance that?
So additional funding is always helpful because it allows us to attract and retain staff. Right now, we are fully staffed to be able to continue to serve this area.
I guess I'd rather not do that for Meredith's benefit.
Sure. I can't say that it's a one-to-one. We try and divide our staff into territories,
Mhm.
and then to ensure that way people aren't traipsing all over the entirety of our catchment area to try and provide those services. Plus, I think it's lovely when you can live where you're serving. It takes an incredibly special person to go into home care. There are tremendous opportunities, right? You have greater autonomy in how you spend your day. But I say this as a primary care doctor who provided care where I lived. It's wonderful when you run into your patients in the grocery store, when you see them in your places of worship. I became a doctor because I liked Doc Baker on Little House on the Prairie, right? Like that was the idea of being truly entrenched in your community. And I absolutely know that resonates as part of the ethos of our staff members. And so, I'll leave you with one of Jim's teammates routinely stops into each of the hospitals like Huggins to go and visit our patients who happen to be there. They're not on our service at that time, but they were. And it's because we still want them to feel like we care, that we're aware of what's going on with them, and we're here for them before, during, and after any hospitalization that they might have. So yes, additional funding helps us to attract staff that are able to serve specifically this area, because we would be able to grow and ensure that they had the hours because they had the patients.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you folks for coming in.
Hey, thanks so
Thank
much
you.
for having us. We
Yeah,
really
safe
appreciate
travels.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move into welfare. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thanks for coming in tonight.
Thanks, Fred.
How are we doing on the welfare front for the town? How are folks making out?
Okay. Should I introduce myself for
Of
the
course.
TV? Okay. So I'm Amy Capone Muccio. I oversee the town's municipal welfare budget. It's not an easy budget to guess how to appropriate for next year because I don't know what the needs will be. The budget committee request, I think, let me move to my page.
Move the gross requesting.
Yeah.
$74,182.
No, this isn't what I wanted to look at. I wanted to look at just the rent request.
Rent?
57,000, okay. Which is tracking on what I'll probably be at year end this year. Maybe a little bit more, over or under. Do you have any specific yet?
I have a question.
Yes, I'm sorry, Barbara, go ahead.
Since we're kind of skipping around here, that whole 800 series, I was a little baffled by it. The 846 lined, it looks like you have already used, what have you already used on that? Actuals versus, our approved default was 600 and now we're going down to 330. Is there really less of a need for the direct assist food, or is that,
So I don't provide a lot of direct assist food.
okay,
I really do only a special circumstance. A lot of times in the past, that's actually been used to buy more of a hot meal for someone who's might have been homeless, or specific things that the food pantry in Wolfeboro can no longer provide. We have a really wonderful food pantry,
yeah,
so I don't have a lot of need for a food line.
okay. And then the other question would be 847, you're already over 1,000 for the utilities, and we're coming in strong with some cold weather here and stuff. How is that affected for the people who come to you and ask for assistance?
So utilities, I tend to lean towards the Warmth and More Fund, which
Okay.
is where I'm at now.
Okay.
And year to date in that fund, I've expended, that's the charitable fund that for history.
Yep.
The Energy Committee started it 5 years ago. It receives donations. And as year to date, at the end of November, I've expended $14,947 from that fund. So I don't always tap into the utilities.
Okay,
So this expenditure was early in the spring when the fund was lower. So at this time of year, I'm moving towards this fund.
and then the third would be 848, you've already expended $7,995 and you're asking for 4,000.
Yes, so that's actually an in and out expenditure
Okay.
that shows that it's over. The trustees of trust funds manage 2 elderly funds, and I go before them to make requests out of that fund, and they assisted a resident with an expenditure for their heating replacement,
Okay,
which made that fund go over, but it was actually returned to the town.
okay.
I pay it out of the budget and pay the vendor directly, and they reimburse the town.
Okay. Which then would lead to my final question on the assistant for rent, asking for 57. How much do you usually get back in funds? Like, what's the revenue stream back from the funds we expend?
So year to date this year, I received repayment on a lien for a homeowner that sold. I got back $3,689.71. That varies from year to year
Okay.
because that is from property owners that I lien, and if the property changes hands, we get reimbursed for those funds. Technically, people are supposed to pay back their rental assistance, but we can't force folks to do that because you can't put them in debt further.
Yep.
So I know that some towns will send out statements at the end of the year to everybody to let them know, here's what the town did for you, and here's what you need to pay back, but I don't do that.
Okay.
Question?
Yes, Suzanne?
If you have to put people up, what accommodations do we have, or where are we putting people?
So we have no temporary emergency housing in Carroll County. Except for Hope House, it was delayed, but it is coming back next year. the first line to put someone somewhere is a shelter, but it's out of our county. The closest shelter is the Carey House in Laconia. Sometimes we can use hotel shortened stays, but that's really not a solution or something that I, by my guidelines, is an actual solution for what the program is.
Another question?
Yes, ma'am.
I see professional development goes up and down as to what you asked for. What plans do you have for the $500 this year?
So in the coming year, I'll do some of my regular training that I did. The past couple years, I've done some extended training and programs that I did the Certified Public Manager program, which was costly and shared between the town manager's budget and my budget. And I also was in the Women's Leadership program this year, and that required me to go monthly. But both of those programs ended in October.
Which you successfully completed.
I did,
There you
yeah.
go.
I graduated from both.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, I got another question.
Certainly, go ahead.
Part-time wages, you have somebody help you when you're unavailable?
I do not. The part-time wages is essentially the funding that I get for overseeing this budget. It's supplemented in the town manager's budget. This is 5 hours a week, and the thought and theory behind it is because I often receive some emergency calls when I'm at home or on weekends. So this provides the extra 5 hours that would offset that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Amy, everything you requested in the budget is going to be sufficient to take care of the folks that may run into problems in the town over the next year?
I don't know. It's very hard to estimate what's going to happen. I mean, right now, it's cold. So then I see things that are cold. I've had a few folks reach out to me recently because of low hours. I haven't seen that since pre-COVID, where they work and the hours have been cut down. But, I try to, the good part about it is I have several funds and other resources, a lot better than a lot of other communities have to tap into. So I try to make it work. In the end, it's the only budget that you're allowed to overexpend if you have to, but try not to do that.
I appreciate it. I'm sure the folks in the town appreciate it also for the hard work that you're doing, trying to help folks out.
Nancy Hirschberg was one of the cheerleaders, I guess, for the Warmth and More Fund, and she and another group of people do have a challenge right now to raise $35,000 for that fund. And to date, I've received $21,000 in donations. So
That's
if
wonderful.
that continues into the new year, then I'll have a good buffer for heating assistance from the good people of Wolfeboro who donate to it.
That's excellent. Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, thanks for coming in, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's get started on the municipal electric fund.
So your electric department budget for 2026 is $10,974,162, an increase of $225,282, or 2.1% over 2025. We note that this budget does not impact taxation whatsoever. Of that $10,974,000, 67% of that is electric generation. 2.8% of that is personnel administration, which is workers' comp, insurance for staff, and a couple other items. MED administration, 12.3%, and MED distribution, 17.8%. as Barry goes through the budget, he's going to be able to tell you about some initiatives and some changes that you will see in the budget that are going to have an impact on us in coming years. And I believe he's also currently in negotiations for purchase power, which our contract expires next year. So without any further ado, please direct your questions to Barry as we go through this, and we can try to get your questions answered.
Good evening.
Hi, Barry.
I'm with Jeremy Mitchell sitting in with me.
I want to make sure people understand. Jim made a statement that this has no tax impact on taxes.
Correct. So
What
the
does that
electric,
mean, that everything that we provide out as far as financial support, that $10 million is paid back in to the users?
it's fully funded by the electric rate users.
Okay.
There's absolutely no tax.
So we're not New Hampshire Co-op or anything like that, we're our own standalone company?
Correct. We are our own standalone, and we actually have the lowest rates in the state of New Hampshire. And we get calls quite often from our friends from the PUC and want to know how we do
How
it.
you do it?
Well, on a
So,
side note, the way that we have to do the budget is we develop a gross budget. That gross budget includes all of those expenses, but when we go to set the tax rate, all of those revenues are shown that Barry creates to show, okay, we've paid for everything that we appropriated through taxes, and that's backed out when we go to set the tax rate, which was just done. So we have to gross appropriate, but on the other end, where you don't see it, is the revenues show that we've paid for all of the appropriations that Barry's asked for.
So whatever the budget may come out as, it's recommended, we can subtract that $10 million because we get that back in revenues that we put forward.
Technically, yes.
Okay.
well,
Suzanne?
and is there not a portion of our annual electric bill that is set aside to provide for future needs in the electric department?
So
Whether it be a penny a month or
yeah,
whatever?
our rates are based on generating a yearly income, so to speak, for the electric department of between $400,000 and $500,000 a year. We aim for $450, and we're right about on track. And so those monies that go into the unrestricted fund balance of the electric department, in effect, fund. I think you have probably a breakdown of our 10-year capital plan. That's how we fund those projects. The ones that we fund that aren't bonded, and we typically,
The users are funding,
paying your electric bill,
not the
yeah.
taxpayer, but the
There's
user.
absolutely no tax money going towards funding
Right.
any of those future projects. And we have a healthy 10-year plan for
Yeah,
projects over $10 million.
You always tell us what that balance is that you've got that's so healthy.
So I think the unrestricted fund balance is 5.5 million right now. In fact, I sort of just did a little breakdown. It's decreased a bit over the years. I think the 5.5 is a good number to carry, but I could pass these out, but you could kind of see the graph if you don't mind, or if you have a question about that. So 5.5 is a good number for us. That's how we not only fund our future projects, but it also, if we had a catastrophic situation where we lost a substation, we had a hurricane event that came through and wiped out a mile of our 390 line. Well, we can absorb that within that unrestricted fund balance without affecting the rate. And you're gonna find, I just looked at an example last year, Ashland, New Hampshire, small muni, a little smaller than us. They lost a substation. Suddenly they had to jack their rates up, emergency rate increase to cover that because they didn't have a healthy unrestricted fund balance to absorb that. So I think it's extremely important to maintain that.
So the users have prepaid into this.
They have, yeah, in essence, I mean, our revenue share, the portion of our profit of our electric, funds that, which we then draw down. And by doing that, we try to we try to have a constant rate over a 5-year period versus adjusting the rates annually, which is an expensive endeavor to do rate studies and adjust. So we try to span that over a 5-year period to maintain a constant rate throughout our contract.
Tom?
Mr. Tom?
Is there a message that a decrease, and should we start to see it going back up again? or-
Well, I think we've had some big projects over the past few years where we've drawn down that replacement of trucks has doubled from what it was even 7 years ago. It's crazy how much it,
Do you
yeah,
think
so
we're in a
we've had some
position
healthy
where we'll-
projects.
think we're in a position to start to see it?
I'm not necessarily saying that we want it to go up. I think that's a pretty good, if we could flatline it at 5.5 million, I feel comfortable with that. That could replace a large-scale substation, that could absorb that cost of that. If we ever, God forbid, and it's the last thing I need to worry about, but if that ever happened, we wouldn't have to have emergency rate adjustment to cover that. We have this,
Right.
I guess I could refer to it as a savings account almost. It's not a capital reserve fund. It wasn't set up that way, but the board, and I think you folks, have the authority to expend appropriations out of there if we need it, an emergency.
Okay, let's, did you have anything else you want to bring up, David, before we start on the administration section?
I think if I can jump in on administration, you're going to see some changes there immediately in the 100 and the, basically the employee portion, the 100 through the 200 series, and those are a result of sort of shifting. We've adjusted our operations a bit. Jeremy's salary has moved from the distribution budget over to the administration budget. He's still fulfilling both activities, but I am sort of fading off into the distance here shortly. And I felt it was good. Jeremy has an interest in assuming my position. And so he's sort of been working under me the past year or so. And that's why we've sort of made that we pulled him out of the administration. So you're going to see these, oh my, we're up 61% in administration, but that's really reflected that. We did not, in turn, add anybody to the distribution budget. Okay? So Jeremy's sort of fulfilling both roles. He's sitting with me, but he's also doing, overseeing the operations on the distribution side. He's supervising the crew. So no net increase in staffing, just a switch. So I just would add that. And
Okay, and that, what you're talking about is the salaries and the benefits for the
Correct.
employees. Okay.
Yep.
Any questions on salaries and benefits in administration?
I have
Yeah,
one.
Bobby.
Thank you for answering that. I did see the reduction in one and the increase in the other. Is there a certain date you're writing?
Only if you're trying to knock me
wait,
out.
No,
There is a date. Yes, there is a date.
And so is this your budget for the whole year, or is this budget going to be, is this Jeremy's budget? That
I
we're
will be
about-
here all of 2026,
Thank
if that's your question.
That
Yes.
was my question.
Yes.
Thank you.
You can stay longer too, Bear, if you'd like.
Just 4 months. My intent is,
You don't have to tell everybody, make this a problem.
I know, but everybody already knows. It seems like everywhere I get a phone call.
When you heading out?
Okay, 300 series, which is the consultants. That's the same as last year. 320 is legal, that's the same. Communications,
John, somebody's got their hand up.
what's that? I'm sorry?
Somebody's got their hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Bobby?
Sorry. I want to go back to the salaries, the open positions. It's showing that you have an executive assistant. Is that still open, and is it going to be filled?
So it's not necessarily an open position.
Okay.
It will be within the next 3 months, okay? So Judy Cormier, her title with us is Assistant Director of Administration. She's achieved that level because of the wonderful things she's done with us and what she's done and carried a lot of both of our activities. So when we go to replace Judy,
who will be leaving in March.
Okay,
We're not necessarily going to fill that position with the title that Judy has currently. We're going to fill that position or request to fill that position with what Judy was hired at. So it's sort of a prove yourself in that role. So it'll be more of an administrative assistant position.
so the health insurance could be adjusted for those first 3 months?
So we don't know, I think we budgeted for a family
You
plan,
did.
the highest one. We don't know, obviously, we have a posting, it's active right now, if you notice out there. But we don't know what the person is gonna be requesting for insurance. So we budgeted for the highest, anticipating it would be obviously changed.
But
as
should
needed.
that number be adjusted for the first 3 months? Because you're not hiring someone in the first 3 months, you're saying?
I think it's kind of, she gets, because of her position, she got an opt-out, which
Oh,
was
okay.
much higher than what
Okay,
the opt-out is today. So I think we're talking about a wash. And
Okay.
it really,
Okay, outside services,
are you on the 300?
yeah, 380.
Just quickly, just because I want to ask this question again, the custodial services, another department where we have custodial services from outside raising fees. Is this another place where maybe we should be just having our own services internally across the board?
I don't know if that's necessarily a question for me, but
It wasn't.
That's
Thank
up
you.
to the Board of Selectmen and each town manager to decide what they want to do. Okay, 382 administrative cost allocation.
Barry's favorite topic.
382, why did that decrease?
why did it decrease?
Backup for formula.
I know the answer, but the formula was, yeah, yeah, had something to do with the pilot changing. No. It had to do with, because originally it was default, this number is based on the prior number is based on a default budget calculation. Then we actually went and got a formal appraisal number, which nailed it down to a little tighter.
Here it is.
Yeah, but that's the sort of the gist of it. That was 2 years of default, and I don't know, it gets confusing as heck when you're going back and looking at 2023 as the number for 2 years, but ultimately, that's what it was. We went and got a formal appraisal done of the whole department, okay? Because we hadn't had a good number in over 10 years to know what both our payment in lieu of taxes and our administrative allocation. Jim, you probably have a better answer than me on that. We're sort of given that formula to calculate. We were, just looking at the
Brian
formula right
agrees.
now.
Brian, you bring your selectmen's
Is it-
budget book, you got the backup.
Right there. I thought it was.
Yeah,
It's got the formula in there.
Yeah, I thought it was on page,
Barry's reaching for.
I think it's on page 33, isn't it?
you see it somewhere, probably.
the numbers.
In essence, I think you were overcharging me in the past too. Feel free to rebate that. I mean, this is
Administrative allocation is based upon the cost of the, we'll call it the corner office,
yeah, there's a,
billing, collection, that stuff. It's based on where we were in 2023. It gets portioned out on a pro rata basis. The formula is in the backup. I haven't looked at it. But if the number is going down in that budget, it's probably, I think it went down in other budgets too. It could be because, and I know this might be a little crazy, the cost of the corner office function may have gone down. If it goes down, the allocation goes
oh,
down.
okay, that perhaps,
Now Barry's comment about payment in lieu of taxes,
that's a different.
that's a different.
That's a little, yeah, that was confusing on mine, sorry about that.
That's okay.
But no, I think that's right. I think you'll see that overall your budget probably is lower, Jim, because the assistant positions is no longer funded from that.
Which it
So we
wasn't
readdress it.
before.
Oh, it wasn't?
It's anyways.
So each department contributes, that is an enterprise fund.
So I guess what we're looking at is each department that pays a administrative cost
Oh, hold
allocation
on.
uses the same formula to determine that.
Okay, the tax collector's contribution probably was the change.
Yeah, because you get part of IT in there, part of finance is in there, part of the tax collector. In fact, you're at 56.94% of the tax collector's budget you guys absorb.
And that's for billing and collection activities, yeah,
Talking about a lot of money here, we're talking about.
pretty much.
It's on page
Yep.
30.
So Jim, you just, I guess my own satisfaction, just make sure that we're treating the administrative cost allocations the same for all departments of this type.
Oh,
So they all use the same formula to get the administrative allocation costs. The only variance is, which I heard some feedback from the other night, we were putting a percentage of the Director of Public Works salary and benefits to the water and sewer administrative allocation, but it sounds like you are looking for something else from that. So other than that, yes, everything is treated the same. The formula is shown here in the backup as approved. I believe it was in 2022. That gives you the, administrative cost allocations.
Okay, let's move on to the 400 series, which includes electricity, heat and oil, water, vehicle maintenance, communications maintenance, copier maintenance, office equipment maintenance, and building maintenance. And also rentals and leases and insurance. Any questions on the 400 series on those topics? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the 500 series, which includes expenses related to printing, dues and subscriptions, and advertising.
I have a question.
Yes,
Could you just explain to us what the Northeast Public Power Association gets us, that membership?
I'm sorry, how they get the member?
No, what we get from that.
So it is our trade organization. Anytime we have a storm event where we need mutual aid, they manage all our mutual aid activities. They provide all our training activities, all our safety programs, but mutual aid is the big thing.
Okay, thanks.
And that increase is,
It's typically a 4% increase each year. Yeah, so what they bill us, it is what it is. Yeah. The problem with this, you're going to see we're lacking a couple of years of, so we're probably more than 4%
times 3 years.
default budget.
okay, we're all set on the 500. Let's move to 600, which includes office supplies, postage, maintenance supplies, gasoline, and safety equipment.
Can I just laugh at one? What's the air freshener for?
I'm just thinking it's probably our restroom facilities.
Ah.
We can eliminate that. I don't know how. I'll be retiring shortly. We can eliminate that.
it's those little Christmas tree somethings on the dashboard.
Hey, you want details? We got it.
That's some serious transparency.
Anything else on the 600 series? Okay, let's move on to the 700, which is expenses for furniture and fixtures, traveling meetings, professional development, and programs.
So this is where the payment in lieu of taxes, this is where that hits. Feel free to cut that.
And this will always be a year in arrears, right, Barry?
It
that
is.
what we had Mr. Fogg come through and conduct an evaluation of the assets, and he came forward with the program, and we had this in the budget last year. It was backed out as a default number, and it will always, as we said, be a year in the arrears, because the budget process in conjunction with the setting of the tax rate is not terribly in alignment to make this work out. So he recommended we do it 1 year in arrears. So next year you'll see the equalization ratio and whatnot based on the 25 tax rate.
Would that be an increase or decrease on that pilot?
It'll probably be a wash.
Any other questions on the 800 series? Okay, I believe that's it for the administration. Let's move on to the next section, which is the distribution, salary and benefits. That's what we talk about when it's the 100 and the 200 series.
Yeah, this is where you see the decrease.
Right, from that, moving that position. Okay? Any questions on the 100 and 200 series? Next section is 300 series, which includes the medical services for the random drug testing, DOT physicals. Then we've got outside services, which has the tree trimming, ledge drilling, pole testing, barge and island work, the 390 line trimming, and also the arc flash study. Any questions on the 300 series?
Down here.
Okay, Bobby?
I just have one question, just because the 65 is that just going off of 23 and we weren't seeing,
We're trying to play catch up.
okay,
We're trying to play catch up, and our tree trimming is suffering because of it.
okay.
And because our tree trimming suffers, you're gonna find our reliability and outage numbers suffer, so.
Is that tree trimming, is that not doing it, is that due to the default budget? Is that
Well, we only had a limited amount of money, so
to do that? Okay.
we had to cut out early. We stopped in, August this year versus we try to have somebody around year round.
Right, okay. So this will help catch up to that, hopefully.
It'll get us back on track
On
in a
track.
way.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions in the 300 series? Okay, the 400 series, that includes the vehicle maintenance, communication maintenance, machinery maintenance, some rentals and leases, and also some insurance, property and liability insurance. Any questions on anything to do with the 400 series?
Yeah.
Suzanne?
Where do you get your maintenance done?
So besides the normal mechanical maintenance, which we have done at the garage, when it comes to our boom, all our hydraulics associated with the aerial device on our buckets, that's a specialty service. You have to be trained, qualified, and rated to work on an aerial device. So we have to bring that either to RBG in Raymond, New Hampshire, or we actually have to bring the truck back down to Somerville, Mass. to have it worked on at the James A. Kiley Company, which is not cheap, but they're the only ones that are really rated to handle that kind of.
So the smaller amount in here would be for regular,
Tire maintenance, oil changes,
Oil
those kind of
changes
things
and all
that they do at the shop. They do a great job too, I will say.
okay, so we budgeted for that, and it's probably budgeted over. Paul has probably spent an hour trying to get it through my head how this works, and I still don't understand it, so I'm not gonna make you explain it to
I
me,
think you're
but to
half
me,
wrong.
Yeah,
it's
you don't.
already.
I'm not going to be the guy to explain it either. To be honest with you,
To
we
me,
just
it's like
pay the bill.
already
It's-
budgeted in the garage budget, and then like we're budgeting twice, but I'm told that we're not, but I just can't get it through my head, so I just go along on this, whatever you say, I gotta take it as face value.
somehow what we pay gets, I'm sure, gets the,
Yeah, the
Because
garage,
the police, fire, everybody's the same, so I guess it works, so.
the garage budget's like regular, like oil change materials, like regular maintenance, to provide. If a police vehicle needs tires, the garage goes out, orders the tires, pays the invoice, and then they invoice the police department. And the police department's paying it out of their maintenance budget, and it goes back to replenish the garage maintenance budget, if that makes any sense.
yeah, and because sometimes they'll ask me at the garage if we need to do like a full, if we need 4 tires on one of our larger trucks, they'll say, do you want us to order and budget, or this is what you need, or you can pay direct. And sometimes based on, we just pay direct, so one way or another it gets balanced.
Bobby.
Bobby?
So now I have a question for you, Sam. Out of that 28,000 that's on the garage budget, that whole 28 isn't sitting there on the garage budget. They're being reimbursed for that.
No,
Or
I
are
think the
they
garage
taking-
maintenance budget is to purchase just regular, like,
Expendables. Like if
oil
they come in
or
and
something.
they're getting a state inspection, they got a blown headlight,
Okay,
they're not gonna worry about the paperwork associated with replacing a headlight. However, to replace tires or do a brake job or something larger, then they're gonna back charge that to the appropriate department.
because I heard from Steve that they were carrying 28 of it for the whole town. Is that not true? Are they being reimbursed for that 28?
Not for the 28.
That's for oil changes and filters and common maintenance.
Yeah, there was
That
28,000.
seems pretty low, yeah, that would make sense.
And he said they don't bill departments for that kind
Is
of.
there 28? Yeah, maintenance on underline 332 on the garage, there was 28,000 there. So is that number reimbursed or does that stay on the garage?
What was the line number?
That stays on the garage.
332.
They overexpend that
Oh,
throughout
okay.
the year, and then they collect money at the end of every month, like, they invoice all departments for work that was done that month. Bigger work, such as having to order tires or,
And again, I think much of that 28 is probably gonna be associated with tax-based departments. Because
Okay.
as an enterprise fund, when we get an oil change done there, it's not as though they don't charge us. We get billed for oil changes and everything at the garage. So
Oh, okay.
I think it's probably like Public Works is a tax fund.
Well, the other
so is
departments don't, fire, police,
Non-enterprise fund.
Non-enterprise funds, right.
But I had an interest, for what it's worth, I had an interest in the vehicle maintenance, and their record keeping and detail of it is amazing.
Yeah.
It's very detailed.
Okay, we're all
Yeah,
set
their
on
new
the
software
400.
is helping them significantly.
Let's move on to the 600 series, which includes the general operating supplies.
So again, this is a catch-up. You're gonna see the substantial increase here, but.
Yep. Maintenance supplies, gasoline and oil, diesel fuel, and the all-important safety equipment. So by catch-up, you're basically talking about the general operating supplies, the poles and the transformers and...
Correct. Poles, wire, what our day-to-day operating
Okay.
supplies, yeah.
Any questions on the 600 series? Seeing none, we'll move on. The 700 series, which includes the machinery and equipment, travel and meetings. Excuse me, that's just the 700 series is just machinery and equipment. Hand power tools as needed. Any questions on that line? 800 series is the travel and meetings, and also the professional development.
So this is where Jeremy is going to be, attending various programs to get additional training and whatnot, as well as the line crew.
How many apprentices, do we have anyone going to school, still going to school?
We have two active apprentices right now.
Okay. So do they just, their work schedule is just going to school for the week and then they come back and have the weekend off? How does that work?
Jeremy can probably answer
So
that.
they each go quarterly. So
Okay.
they go, yeah, a week at a time, and then they come back and do the normal thing.
It's a combination of book training, OJT, they have to track their hours
Okay.
based on what they're doing. And
Now,
they
when
need
they-
X number of hours in each sort of subcategory to achieve that final.
When they come out, what would they be able to, are they lineman one or whatever, for the first step, or what are they, what's the title, whatever?
When they come out, as long as they pass a NEPA training and plus they have the hours for us, then they'll just become a journeyman lineman and they'll be able to do everything.
Okay.
So
And then there's steps up? You can-
that's it.
That's basically it, you're,
that's
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions on the 800 series? Seeing none, we'll move on to the 900 series, which is the debt service principal and the debt service interest. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Barry?
So those are just some of our large-scale projects, like we did the North Main conversion, Falls work, where we've bonded projects. Those are the bonding and
Okay.
interest, so. And those have been projects that, again, I've used the $1 million threshold as what we pay for out of the unrestricted fund balance versus what we pay for in a bond. So those are our bonds.
Okay, very good. Any questions at all on the electric distribution? Seeing none, we'll move on to generation. 100 and 200 series, those are the salaries and benefits.
Meter readers, that's our meter readers.
Okay.
Smart.
Any other questions,
Less.
100 and 200? Next one is 300 series, which is the consultants and outside services. All right, no questions, let's move on. 400 series is electricity, water, sewer, vehicle maintenance, building maintenance, and again, insurance.
Electricity is actually down in our final year of the contract, which we knew. We looked at it, we set the rate at a 5-year period, but
Yeah.
yeah, it just happens to be down in year 5.
Any questions on the 400 series? Jim, did all the electric rates that are in the other budgets, they reflect the decrease in the rate, you know?
It's not a rate decrease.
It's not, okay.
No. No, when we look at each year of the 5 year of the contract, we
Yeah.
know where we're gonna be at. We take sort of an average so that we don't have to do a rate adjustment every year. And then that, we place that so we have a constant rate for 5 years.
Okay.
So some years there's gonna be spikes, there's gonna be valleys, but we sort of, what's the word?
Median, the median.
We take the
Consistent.
median
How
over
about
a
the
5
average?
years.
Average, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions on the 400 series?
Now,
Seeing none, we'll move on to the 600 series, which includes the general operating supplies, transformers.
these are
meter
mostly
bases,
metering equipment, metering transformers, et cetera, this line item.
gasoline, and safety equipment. What do we have, 3, 4 meter readers? 2?
Yeah, well, we went to that radio read, it really decreased our cost and
Yeah.
our personnel requirements. So now we're down to 2 folks, 2 days a week.
And they just drive around and record the,
Yeah, there's still a handful that we have to manually read, but
Okay.
yeah, generally you drive the route, you get within, 150, 200 feet of the meter and it'll pick it up.
oh. Okay, any questions on the 600 series? Okay, that's it on the generation. Any questions at all on electric generation?
So Barry's got 2 capital outlays
Okay.
for you. This is the only department, I believe, now that has capital outlays. We're in a unique situation with the building, the Armory building. We, as a town, own the building. We rent the building to the electric department, and the electric department feels generous enough to ask for funds to do some building maintenance repairs and upgrades in 2026, estimated at $80,000. Barry will be able to speak to the proposed repairs.
Yeah, we try to stay at top of our building. If you remember last year, we were approved to do the garage ceiling. I'd ask, if anybody wants to come down and check that out. It really came out nice. It really, from what it looked like with insulation all hanging down. But anyways, try to stay on top of our building maintenance. This year, we're asking to replace our storefront windows that were there that are extremely inefficient. Poor Judy's sitting there with the towels and insulation and everything else hanging over those windows. They've sagged in the sun, and they've caused some major air infiltration. So that's really what we're looking to do next year.
That's
Replace
80,000? 80,000
Correct.
came out?
Yeah, we've got a hard estimate on that. We feel confident. And our second one is we have a CIP project, a capital project in our 10-year plan to replace the submarine cable feeders out to our island customers. Those cables are over 50 years old. One of the 3 has failed. We really need to replace those. So next year we hope to do the pre-engineering for that project, and we hope to actually feed it from. Right now, the feed is actually from over in Alton in a lakeside development, which is a terrible. We can't separately fuse it or anything. That knocks the whole development out when the islands are out. So our intent is to try to feed these off the end of Clark Road, where it's closer to our source, and we can fuse it and we can control it easier. So, yeah.
Is that going to take like some kind of specialist to do that, or a special?
Believe it or not, there's a lot of companies in New England that feed, even some of the ones that are marine, off coast of the offshore and the island communities off Maine. There's plenty of companies that do this. We're not going to. It's nothing we're doing in-house. It would take. The permitting is probably the most extensive stuff of it done, but yeah, you don't want the cable to float. So we'll do a directional boring down at the shoreline so it's not exposed, and we'll directionally bore as far out as legally required. And it'll be a big job. Yep.
Since we're on that one, the backup for it says $52,000 for the cost on that, and then the plan is $90,000. Can you just tell me what the other 30?
Yeah, well, the part of what you have there is just it's not the permitting cost necessarily.
Okay.
So there'll be permitting that we need to do. There'll be surveying that we need to do. There'll be a bunch of other stuff. That just happens to be one of the companies that uses to do the actual engineering for the cable itself and the run. But there's obviously permitting costs on top of that represent a large portion of the cost. You're doing a lake crossing.
Question?
Yeah.
Question?
Okay.
Yeah. If you were to take a stab at it, what do you think this whole project complete will cost?
If you look at the back of in your book, you'll have our spreadsheet
I've
there.
probably seen that number, but I don't remember.
That's a CIP spreadsheet.
Right now, I have 500,000.
I thought that's just for the professional feasibility
No, we're at 90,000 for the,
Yeah.
preliminary cost estimate?
we're at 90 for next year for the capital outlay. For the actual project itself, when we go put forth that in 2027, we're looking at 500,000.
Okay, and how many years until it's complete, start to finish?
Oh, this is not gonna be, it's gonna be a one-season
I'm
project.
done.
I mean, this project will go fast. Laying cable in the bottom
It's easy.
is the easy part. It's all the permitting and dealing with it at the shoreline, that's the tough part, but not a tremendously complex project.
To you?
It's just made so.
It's it's the permitting that's gonna make it
Making sure that it doesn't.
impactful, but
When I look at the map, it just looks kind of overwhelming.
yeah, I mean, it's a long distance, but in essence, you're not building poles, you're not framing every pole, you're unreeling cable in the bottom of the lake, so.
You're trenching it?
The infrastructure on the islands won't change, it's just getting the feed there.
Correct. So we are, if you recall, we were approved for reconstructing Melly and Kenniston Island, which will be bid in the spring. We've done the engineering portion of that.
Right.
So our intent is, not that it matters, but we're gonna reverse the feed of how we do it out there, but that has no bearing on the project. But it's all overhead out there once you get there. Paul, I mean, there is the option to directionally bore the whole way, which will save on the permitting, because we're not into the lake, we're not into the wetland, but obviously drives the price. That's what this study is gonna tell us, what's the best way to go about it. Do we directionally bore the whole run right underneath the lake and not even get into the, the marine bottoms, or, so.
Is the current one just laying there?
The current one's laying on, yeah. That's, there's multiple cables, trust me, you got phones, got multiple cables out there. Over the years, there's old electric cables there, there's new electric cables there. Well, they're 50 years old.
Will that all be tied into the new, so we'll just have one cable with everything in it, or just electric?
Oh, yeah, it's just electric.
They're not gonna take up the telco stuff, it's just gonna be
No.
left in disconnected or something.
Well, it's continually active now. Right now, the telco stuff is so old, they actually have a compressor down there at the end of Clark Road, continually runs, pumps air into that cable.
So it doesn't leak.
Nonstop to push the water out of it, because that's how old that cable is, has multiple air leaks. If the compressor goes down, it starts sucking in the water and they lose function. That's why they have to put a generator down there when we have a major outage, just to keep that compressor pumping air.
When we were on Littlest Mud Island, we still had a landline.
Yeah, they have there's plenty of landlines still out there, yeah.
Amazing.
Wild.
Barry, is there a requirement, or will you be removing the existing?
No, I think what they do is they find it more environmentally impactful, actually dragging the new one out, so abandoned in place.
Just LID, left in disconnect.
Okay, any other questions for,
I just have
Bobby?
one from the first one. Just because it's a water question, that you're gonna be power washing and our water's low, is that building on town water or is that
Correct.
pulling from a well?
We're on town water, yeah.
So is that something that could be put off to make sure that our water supply is not?
When you say we're gonna be power washing, what are you talking
Well,
about?
one of the bids has power,
Oh, well, I mean, it's
pressure
gonna
washing,
happen
sorry.
next year, so it'll either be,
We're gonna hope we get this.
let's hope I can't predict necessarily the weather.
And then my other question on that same bid is, that's not a local bid from town. Did you have bids potentially to do this work from someone who, a business?
We're gonna
in
put,
town?
it's gonna be, these bids are just for pricing opportunities,
Okay.
okay? So we're gonna, this will be open to the public,
Okay.
whoever is qualified and
Okay.
can bid on it.
Okay,
I think,
thanks.
everything goes public, so.
okay, any other questions for the electric department? Barry, thank you for coming in, thank you for coming in, sir.
Thank you,
Appreciate you guys' hard work and your men's hard work.
thank you.
Okay, that's all we have for right now. Scheduled for you come in before. Jim, what do you have? Any information for us you can become aware of?
The only thing that I can recall that I wanted to tell you, there was a conversation the other night about where the sewer debt is. That is in the budget book behind debt service. So it's in that tab with debt service. And secondly, next week, I will give you more of a official
Thank you.
presentation on the letter that you received a couple weeks back from me for the over expenditure, where we have everything complete now relative to the tax rate and updated revenues, etc. We'll be ready to come in and ask for you to take that letter under consideration for over expenditure if needed. I can sit here and tell you, and I think you guys can probably tell as well, we've had an expensive couple of weeks due to Mother Nature. We're still trying to hold firm on the budget, but I think that due to healthcare costs and that 12% assessment, we're going to have to tap into some of that money in our fund balance. I can't tell you how much, but I don't think it'll be the full 377.
Well, the selectmen going to propose any other money coming out of that for this year's budget as an offset or anything?
The selectmen, when they set the tax rate, used $1,250,000 of fund balance. But that's it. There is no proposal for using any of the fund balance for warrant articles. It's just going to sit there.
Okay, any questions for the town manager? All right, I just want to make everybody aware. I've been getting some emails I want to share with you. I don't see any reason why I can't. Hello, Leanne and John. Bobby Bumman has suggested I contact you to confirm my attendance of the December 30th meeting and also the January 5th meeting about circumstances on warrant. May I ask you to be penciled in on the agenda. As it stands right now, on the way we've done it previously, that's always been treated as public input at the beginning of the meeting and at the end of the meeting, and it can be taken more testimony information when we have the public hearing on the budget. Does anyone object to standing with that procedure where we give 15 minutes for public input at the beginning and at the ending for Mr. Rossinger? Do I have to put a separate item on the agenda? Bobby?
So I don't know if everybody's been following this, but we know Charlene came in earlier and she gave public input. The problem with, and there's been a lot of emails, and Jim can forward them if he wants to, or Steve Randall can, you can reach out. But the reason why I had received a plethora of them, and so at that point, having them come every single meeting to give a little public input on a warrant article we're not discussing at the moment, I think was going to be a little bit taxing on our committee. So I suggested they come when we actually discuss that warrant article to address it. The only problem is if they do it during public input, they're not going to be able to discuss the actual warrant article all as a cohesive unit, whoever comes in. And there are two sides to this. So it gives the people an opportunity, both sides, to address us, because they either want our vote for that warrant article or they want us to, not vote for it. So the reason I reached back out to them and suggested they do it that way is because then we are not going to be getting bits and pieces every single one of our meetings at the beginning and the end. It keeps it cohesive and would make it a little bit easier on all of us.
What is the warrant article we're talking about?
I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know. I'm sure it has something to do with roads. That's just my opinion.
So we got one person against it, and that's it?
I'm just trying to figure out what you folks want to do. You want to stick to the current policy that we have concerning these regular meetings, and then we'll open it up during the public hearing. That's usually past practices, is to take questions and answers during the public hearing on the budget. Gentlemen, yes? Paul?
Yeah, this will demonstrate that I don't know. Does the budget committee, and maybe it's to Jim and to Sam, can the budget committee take, let's assume a fictitious warrant article to build a bridge. And the bridge building is gonna have a whole bunch of components to it, and it's gonna cost $100. Can the budget committee say, no, that should be $70?
No.
No. So the only way that, if I understand correctly, the budget committee is either all in or all out.
Correct.
It's either it's not $100 or it's $100. And you could say, I don't recommend the 100, I recommend the 100.
That's the
And
only
you can have a
power.
split vote on it.
That's right.
That's the only
I just wanted to
authority.
make sure I understand, because
Yeah.
I think the ambition, and I don't know, I can only suspect what Charlene is looking for, because she's come forward several times. She's trying to make an argument that there should be a section of a road plan taken out of that budget.
Well, it's not one citizen, which is.
It could be a number of
It's
people.
not one citizen.
Right.
It's a very
A
large
community
part of a
group.
community.
Yeah, all I'm
Yes.
trying to figure out is, can this budget committee, I think I got my answer. They can't part out.
No, we
Okay,
cannot.
I got it. Okay,
It's
thank you.
recommend or
That's all I
don't
need to know.
recommend.
Yes or no?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Joe.
Oh, warrant article, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's a difference between the operating budget and the warrant article. We can suggest changes to a line item in the
Yes.
operating budget, but not a warrant article.
The only change can be made, to, as I understand it, warrant article, is if someone comes up during the deliberative session
Right.
and cuts
Right.
100,000 out or whatever, then we vote again,
Mhm.
whether we support it and everything.
Right.
Yes.
Got it.
Brian?
You could let someone do the regular public input in the beginning and at the end, and if they had something that they wanted to have read by the chair during a warrant article discussion, I would say that would be up to the chair to decide and the board to decide, but it's a way for the meeting to go and flow and not stop and not have a lot of people come up, but if someone had a just short statement that they wanted to read about this warrant article, you might be able to read it and just say Claude Rosinger or Charlene Seibel, or
XYZ
whoever,
person, yeah.
whoever the person was on the board.
You would have me read that when we address that particular warrant article?
It's up to your board.
Up to
Yeah.
you, and it's up to you as the chair and the board.
Okay.
As long as it's not 3 pages.
We do that in select board meetings. Sometimes our chair will read a letter that, for someone who couldn't show up and wanted to have their input on a subject put in place or whatnot, we do that.
It's up to you guys.
Yep.
Any comments?
Yeah, I'm not sure why are we talking about this?
Because there's been a 91A request, and I want to make the board know what's going on. And I don't want people to show up and expecting that they're going to talk during each warrant article. If that's what the board wants to do, then that's what we'll do. But
Well,
right now, we have 3 minutes, total of 15 minutes, and I've been quite flexible on going over
oh,
that.
yeah, the selectmen are too.
Yeah.
But my question is, we hold a public hearing for the budget.
Yeah.
Are you saying we don't hold a budget hearing for the
No,
warrant
I'm not
articles?
saying that. What I'm saying is, Mr. Rossing's just been made aware of 2 meetings that we're going
I
to deal
don't
with.
care about who the people are.
Okay,
I
well,
want to know the process.
the process is, as it's been for the past, God knows how many years, we do the budget, the warrant articles are presented to us, we have a public hearing on the warrant articles and the budget, and then we have the deliberative session where we'll do the
Okay.
final vote.
So when you have the public hearing on the budget and the warrant articles, we all understand the warrant articles don't get changed by us. We have no
Right.
purview over them, other than to recommend. Since it's a public hearing and it's a public process, is there a problem with you that they ask a question about each warrant
No,
article?
I don't have a problem with that when we're dealing with the warrant articles at the public hearing. These folks
Is it the
Oh,
budget
one of-
want
committee?
to come when they're presented to us, and we talk about them.
At the budget
At
committee
the budget
meeting?
committee level, where there's no, it's a public meeting, but it's not like, we're gonna finalize anything.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay,
correct me if I'm wrong,
I-
when you have the public hearing for your warrant articles,
yeah,
you have the public hearing on the article, and then you vote on that article at that time, right?
yeah.
Right.
So that would be the
That's the
appropriate time
Right there.
to, I think, take your public input.
Well, I'm just saying that, I've been notified of people being asked to come to this meeting when we're going to get the warrant article presented to us. Nothing to do with the public hearing as far as
Okay,
approval
okay, that's what I
or
missed. I
disapproval.
didn't
Yeah.
follow that part.
Yeah.
So they would have to do beginning and end public comment.
Right, I just want to
When
make
they're
sure.
presented. All right, I didn't
Yeah,
understand
okay, I apologize.
what you were trying to drive at.
Yes, Tom.
My thought would be to keep it the way it's been, public, the public should, if we're gonna look at a warrant article and they want us to consider some position they have, they do it at the beginning, as briefly as possible, and then we then take that input and take it into our deliberation.
Okay.
But they should not join, in my opinion anyway, the discussion that we have
Okay, thank you.
during the budget committee meeting.
John?
Yes, ma'am.
So, this is my request. I am going to request, Jim, if there is a possibility that every time emails come in on that subject, that they are not just distributed to a few of the members on this committee, because there are things that I have received emails from community members, both for and against. I mean, I would say that I'm up to over 50 emails now, and I don't think that I should just, as one member of this committee, have that information without the rest of the committee having it. And my email is a personal email. So,
This is a problematic area because there's an expectation of
Disclosure.
respond all.
Disclosure.
And I have a real problem with that as far as sequential brief, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So when I respond to Ms. Seibel, I respond to her and the staff member exclusively. That's it.
okay.
If there is a request for all email correspondence on this, that this budget committee would like, if you guys would like to put that forward to me, I can work on getting the full disclosure of all email correspondence relative to the Trask Mountain Road paving topic.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I passed this along to John and Leanne was because I felt like it is not, I'm just one member, and I felt like this should not be on me. I should not be the
Agreed.
only person hearing this. And I felt that if this was something that was coming before our committee, which it is, because I've included on it, Suzanne's in on a few of them, I've seen John in on a few emails. So we're starting to break quorum with this in a way that I don't want it to be unintentional or anything, which is why I want it out there that this is something that I'm receiving emails on, and a few other people are too, and we are a whole committee, and it needs to go before all of us, which is why I wanted it done here and not through email.
Mr. O'Brien?
Yeah, and Bobby, thank you for raising the concern, and I mean that genuinely. There's an expectation that a message sent between parties should be and can be inspected by a 91A.
Mm-hmm.
There's an expectation, and if you send them to a majority of this committee or to us, that's a public meeting for all intents and purposes, and can be inspected. What this gentleman does is he will send a note. If he receives something, he sends the note to us, and it is blind copied to all of us. And we just don't talk to each other about it. Whether I talk to Brian and he talks to Linda, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And by virtue of the fact that you said you've seen some correspondence, you gotta be, I'm not here to admonish you, you just gotta be careful to not do that, because that gets everything gummed up.
Which is
So
why
my
I
advice
haven't-
would be,
yeah.
Leanne and John, distribute things BCC to the world, and that's it. And I'm stepping over my boundaries by saying that, and I apologize.
Yeah.
But keep it clean.
That wasn't sent to the majority of this committee, or a quorum of this committee.
Well, some of the emails I've seen Brian on, I've seen myself on, I've seen you on, I've seen John on, and I started getting a
And
little
and who responded of those people?
No, none.
None, so there you go.
No,
Nobody responded.
I know, but we're getting close to those numbers, and I personally felt like this is something that is, look, I'm not the chair, and this was not my decision, which is why I forwarded it and handed it over to John and with Leanne.
Need to vote on something?
Yeah,
or-
well, so what do you want to do? Let's get the, how we're going to do the meeting on the warrant article. We all agree that time, public information at the beginning and public at the end when we deal in the warrant articles. Everybody on board with that?
Yes.
Everybody on board with that?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Next thing is, as I mentioned, I read Mr. Parker's resignation at the start of the meeting, and we now have a vacancy, and we've got some policies and procedures on how to fill that vacancy. What do we have for comments about that, about filling the vacancy?
What does the rules of procedure say?
All a vacancies shall be filled in accordance with RSA 32:15. A vacancy occurring during the year shall be filled by appointment by majority roll call vote of the Budget Committee. A person so appointed shall serve until the next annual meeting where successor shall be elected to fill the remaining unexpired term.
What page are you on?
I'm on page 2. It's advising me to direct the vacancy to be posted in accordance with the town clerk's procedures on the town website, town hall bulletin board, social media for the town, and a printed newspaper of general circulation. Posting shall include information regarding the Budget Committee's appointment process, including one unlimited 2 contact persons to which the candidate should submit their information, types of documentation the candidate should provide, and deadline for submission. A member who is appointed to fill a vacancy may run an election on the town ballot to fill the remainder of the term.
How many years
Does
this?
it have
when's
a
this term?
time frame for how long this posting has to be?
I think previously we've done like 2 weeks.
I don't remember, John.
Yeah, I think it's been 2 weeks.
Well, that's kind of counterproductive to fill in the position if it's 2 weeks. I'd say post it for a week and see if anybody wants to jump in.
The only thing that I will say about that is, I will have to check. I'm not sure if the deadline is today for the Granite State
Oh, for the
News
Granite,
next
that's
week.
right.
And what?
The deadline to put something in the Granite State would probably be today. He's not sure, but he thinks it for next week, so then we move it out another week.
No. As long as you get it in by Sunday, Monday.
Yeah.
I know for the ZBA to get legal
Yeah.
notices in, as long as we get them in
Okay.
by Monday morning.
Yes, Tom?
What's his term? Is he,
It would be until March, and then they'd have another.
so he's
election.
only got,
A couple of, yeah, he or she would only have well, probably from the middle of January. I don't think we get it filled by January 1st.
Is there any need to do it at all?
Yeah, I just want to have, I want to check
the
with Pat
rules
to see
kind
if
of say
there's,
we should, but.
yeah, see if there's an RSA that requires it to be filled. Or if it's up to the discretion of the
You want to throw
The
someone
Budget
in
Committee or
there
the Board of
that's not
Selectmen?
understanding? They'd be lost,
What's the Board of Selectmen going to
unless you
do
want
with
to do
it?
it.
I'm just trying to find out if that's the case, Suzanne, that's all. I just want to see who can make the determination.
It's right here, we appoint.
There may be an RSA, which is a statute passed by the legislature, that says how this procedure is done. We presented this to the
It's in
chair.
accordance with 3215, right on the top line.
I know, and that's what I'm looking up right now, RSA 3215.
How and when do we process in the 50 applicants that we're going to receive?
I don't know.
The 2?
It's right there. It's a thing. It shall be
You can be on the
filled by
nominating
an appointment
committee.
by the majority.
I mean, it wouldn't be until January. It'd be
you have Steve Johnson who wants to come back. You know you have Steve Johnson who wants to come back.
Okay, Jim, wait, if you can try to get that in tomorrow for next,
Good luck.
What's your deadline? So it would be in the 18th.
18th, so by, well, we've got Christmas the following week. New Year's, January 1st.
You got a budget committee meeting on the 30th,
Can
if
you
I'm
say that,
understanding
or
it
does it want
correctly.
you not to say that?
Okay, by January, December 30th.
So what if we did
They're trying to
by
say there won't be time.
December 29th, so you guys can consider it on the 30th?
Okay.
That's great.
Does that work?
What was his name over
Yeah.
there?
The only thing is, we won't, if anyone wants to interview the people that apply, then we'll have to reschedule it, because that's kind of short notice, to have to come to an interview.
But if that's part of the process,
Well,
that they know their interview's on the 30th,
If
right?
I put in the notice
Yeah.
that, to be submitted by 4 PM on the 29th with all candidates to attend the budget committee meeting on December 30th
Okay.
at 6 PM. That way they know right up front that it's an expectation.
And then again, one of the, fill in if deemed necessary, the budget committee may conduct interviews, if we feel it's necessary.
John?
Yes, sir.
I just opened up 3215. And just for the benefit of the committee, there's 7 sections of 3215, which talks about the membership, and it's optional or whatever. Section 7,
What
I think
page?
is, I have the
It's in the
RSA. in front of me.
RSA.
No, I have the
RSA.
RSA in front of me, says, Section 7 says, in municipalities where members are at large are appointed, the chair shall notify the moderator immediately upon the occurrence of any vacancy in the membership at large, and the vacancy shall be filled by appointment by the moderator within 5 days. I'm not sure we have our
I don't
larger
think-
folks here.
What's the moderator? I don't understand what
The
you're
town
reading.
moderator. Otherwise, the budget committee fills the vacancies, but you need to begin the process within a handful of days. That's basically what it's saying here, okay? In the statute, not me. I'm not interpreting the statute, I'm reading the statute. In
What's
municipalities
the
where-
citation number?
Section 3215, item 7 in the statute.
It's in the rules there.
In the rules.
The first paragraph of the rules, I think it says what.
So you gotta get on it. I mean, that's the point, is you gotta just get on it and do something.
That's what we're doing. And I agree, we don't have to contact the moderator, because I don't think that's.
You know, this would be for at-large
Yeah,
members.
we don't have any at-large.
And you don't have any at-large
Yeah.
members.
Okay, is everyone good on what we're going? Jim, you're gonna, try to get something in the paper, and then we'll have someone, hopefully, you'll get the, Leanne can get the resumes out to us. We can look at them before the meeting on the 30th, where we'll address the interviews or take the necessary steps at that date, or appoint somebody to fill the spot until March elections. Next thing I have here is, just before I forget, what do we do, I'm sorry, we do public input. Any public input?
Oh, yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Karen.
Hey,
Renee
Karen.
Carey.
Come on up, Karen, so
Come on up,
we
Karen.
get a picture of you.
Uh,
And what you got to say.
No.
Oh, no way.
Because
Hey.
I can't hear.
Get up there. Come on.
You have to be able to be picked up by the
Come
mic.
on, get up there.
Never been an issue before. Hi, I'm Karen Burnett Curie. The only thing I have public input on tonight is the discussion that just happened. And I would say that it's important for the public to know that you guys can't change the warrant articles. But if you have discussion of it, I think, and I've said this before, having public input at the beginning and the end is really hard on the public. Because you can have the discussion on a topic at 6:05, and it can be 9:30, and I'm trying to bring that discussion up, and it's irrelevant to whatever just transpired. So it's so disjointed from the point at hand that it makes it very difficult to make appropriate commentary. I understand not interrupting your meeting and not being a participant at the table during the discussion, but I think there's some validity or value to allowing people to send in an email that's read as at the appropriate time in the appropriate discussion, limited to X number of words or something like your public input is limited to. Because I think that having, and many people can attend the meeting or can't last until, I mean, tonight you're getting out early, but, you know, to the end of
So
the
early.
meetings, and I think that's not helpful to the discussion. I think for your purposes, the discussion, the input would be most relevant when you're discussing it. So that's a vehicle for doing that without interrupting your conversations and yet still allowing the public. And I understand that there's public input in one session later on, but that again is one session culminating at the end. And if somebody thinks that what they want to say should have bearing in the discussion in the process, that's very different than just having a final word at the very end of the process. That's all.
Thank you, Karen.
I think,
We were not going to answer any questions.
Not gonna-
Thank you, Karen. So, all you got for us tonight?
That's all.
Excellent.
And I'm not coming up there again. I'm not.
Thank you.
It's your throne, not mine.
Okay, Suzanne, you wanted to bring up,
No, I just handed this out to everybody as food for thought, example, something we might want to do in our report, our budget report that we put in the annual town report. In any format, it's the first time, so it can be in any format you want. So I just gave you something to think of. Come up with something better, great.
just to jump off of Suzanne's work, and I appreciate she's doing all she's doing, I want to pass on an email that I received today about the town report. You're receiving this email because you're on a board or committee that has submitted a town report in the past. Please submit your report summaries to me in Word format. The town report is a bid out at a cost per page, so please limit your submissions to 500 words or less. Charts, graphs, and photos can be submitted only and will be considered if space allows, and we rarely have extra space due to the amount of summaries we include in the report. Attached is what is required of the town report, and those items take precedence and space becomes an issue. And I have anyone who would like to have this forwarded to them, it tells everything that has to be in the town report.
What's the top line say?
It says required information for annual town reports.
And there's no telling you what that information is.
Oh, yeah.
You got,
Who authored that?
It says, this is from Amy, here's what has to be included in the report. The copy of the municipal budget, MS6, MS7, RSA 32:5C. Final budget and ballot questions and official ballot communications, cites the RSA. Ballot sheet as of December 31st of the previous year, June 30th of the fiscal year. Selectmen's report, tax collector's report, treasurer's report, report of the highway agent, summary report of the trustee of the trust funds, report of municipal auditors, report of independent auditors findings, report of the library trustees, report of the Conservation Commission, report of the Public Works Commissioners, report of the utility system, expenditures from contingency funds, and notice regarding involuntary merge lots.
and that's what's required in the total town report
Yes.
from all
Yeah.
those departments. I'm addressing our budget report.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is if we're going to have to do what Amy suggests, or we're going to lay the burden on us, that we're going to cost the town report more.
Well,
want-
isn't that a shame that
Well, when-
out of a multi-million-dollar budget, we can't afford 25 cents more on an
I
extra
don't think it's 25 cents more, but
Do you know if
The
Yvonne,
people wait all year for this report.
do you know if Yvonne's doing the report?
I'm sorry.
Do you know if Yvonne's doing the
Who's
annual
Yvonne?
report? At Kingswood Press, is she's doing the
I don't know
annual
who got
report?
the
It's
bid.
going to bid.
Yeah.
Goes up
Oh,
to bid.
okay, because it was Donna before, and now,
Goes up to
and then
bid.
it went to Yvonne,
How
right?
much does that usually run?
I want to say it's about $4,500
Okay.
right off the top of my head. And no, it's been, I can't think of the name of the company right off the top of my head, but they basically do most of the town reports for most communities in the state.
So it won't be a big cost if we go over a couple of pages, if we put some drafts and things in? Okay, good.
We'll
Make it work.
figure it out.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Okay, a motion to adjourn. Everyone have a wonderful weekend. Waiting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Nice weekend,
Thank you,
everybody.
everyone.